Hello, and welcome back to Like the Wolf, the podcast where we review and talk about each and every Nero Wolf book in order. My name is Jeff Quest, and we're here today to talk about Over My Dead Body. I'm here with my superior co-host,
Hi
Rena
guys.
Griffin.
Yes, it's Rena. I wouldn't say I'm superior. I like to say that we're on the same playing field here, Jeff.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, yeah, we're talking Over My Dead Body, seventh Nero. Really starting to heat up, I like to think. Um, this one's a pretty different type of Nero Wolf book here. Um,
Yeah,
it's got a little bit of different things going on. So it starts out with basically this lady comes to meet with Nero. She's talking to Archie, and she's definitely like a foreign girl. He had some some talks in the beginning. I didn't really like the way he was thinking about her, but whatever. Um, and so, she's basically like, hey, you guys look at this book. You like this book? She's questioning Archie a lot, and Archie's just not picking it up, which is kind of funny. Um, so finally, Nero comes down, and he's just like, what do you want? And she's just like, yo, you got to help us out, buddy. I'm from Montenegro. You're from Montenegro. We're buddies. And he's just like, no. And she's like, all right, let me tell you. One of my buddies is being accused of stealing diamonds from this guy that we fence with, because they're both fencers at this like pretty cool fencing school or whatever. And she's like, she would never steal diamonds. So she didn't do that. I'm going to need you to come and like get that all figured out for us. And Nero's like, not gonna happen or whatever. And then she gets a little aggressive, and he's just like, he like freaks out a little bit, I would say, and he like runs out the room. And so, Archie goes and checks up on him, and Nero's like, yo, tell her to get out, tell her to leave. And so, she leaves. Archie's just like, man, she was gonna pay us. I don't understand why you would kick her out. And he's just like, I've only talked to some ladies like that once before, and I don't like it. So boom.
yeah.
But anyway, so
Well,
then
because
Archie's
she's talking like she's using she's talking in his native language, right? And that's he's
right.
unhappy about that.
Yeah, she said, what did she say? Holla. I can't think of the word, but it's a pretty funny thing that means like, it just made it's what it was like a phrase that like freaked Nero out. So that was kind of like funny.
Yeah.
Because you don't see him getting freaked out really much. Um, but they're eating dinner or whatever, and then Nero's just like, she was questioning you about some book, right? And he was like, yeah, she was asking about some weird book, and when you read it and I read it, da 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 da. Long story short, they go and check out the book. There's this like this little deed or some sort of paper, basically giving the rights to like negotiate on behalf of like the Donovich gang, as Nero called them. They're like the rulers that are like kind of shady. But anyway, it gives the powers to the daughter-in-law, or the whatever she might be, the princess, to do everything that the prince would have done, because the prince is dying. And so, Wolf is like ballistic. He's just like, they would steal the forces from the people. Basically, he's really unhappy about this because Wolf has been in war before. He knows the Donovich gang. He doesn't like them. And he's just like, these people are terrible. And this thing is now in my room, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So he sends it to Saul for safekeeping, because he's like, they're going to come back for it. Then the next day, the young lady comes back. Her name's Carla. She comes back and she's like, all right, buddy, let me tell you why you're going to come help out my buddy Naya, because, you're going to. This is your daughter, right? Right? And it's just like, Archie's like, what? Not really. He didn't say it out loud, but you could definitely, read between lines. He's like, that's not okay. And Nero's just like, I don't know if I believe this, but you got the paper, so all right, let's see what we can do. So
and there's this paper that has been had him is listed as the father of this person, right? That he has adopted. It's not his actual daughter; it's an adopted
boom.
daughter.
He adopted her he adopted her at 3, so it's not like really her. I mean, not really his, but it's his in a way. You get it.
He's not a birth father. He's
boom.
an adoptive father.
Yes. Which, if we're going back a step, which I will, after he kicked Carla out the first time and they found that piece of paper, a G-man came through and was like, yo, you're supposed to like tell us if you're like working for some like foreign company or whatever. And Nero's just like, nope. But then he starts like telling all of Nero's like past. Like he did some serious research on Nero. So he's like, asking him questions, but he already kind of knew the answers, which is how we kind of already knew a little bit that Nero, now that was Nero married? Did I read that correctly? That he was not married, but he had a daughter.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, kind of. And then Nero told him to go to the dogs. Because he was like, I don't want to talk about my past anymore with you. But anyway, so now we find out that Nea is the adopted daughter. And then Wolf is just like, all right, well, I'm not going to have a kid. I'm going to go and send Archie down there. We're going to look into this a little bit. There's some back
he
and
feels
forth.
obligated. I mean, the big thing is that he had the daughter disappeared and he couldn't find her. He went back later to search for her. And never located her again, and so he's obviously got this guilt. He sends money back to the country all the time, and he's definitely working through some issues on his own. So this is kind of a big deal to him.
True. Yeah, I would agree with you. I would say it's a big deal, in a way.
Well,
I mean, I guess if you adopt somebody,
it's not something that he's showing necessarily, but you can tell or saying.
Right.
But I think he is showing that this whole thing is really affecting him pretty hard. And he's trying to figure out, is my daughter somebody who would murder somebody, and what's going on? So
true. I mean, yeah, if you adopt someone, you definitely are responsible for them, especially if they're, in a country where things are less than great.
So
yeah, I think he gets that.
So Wolf ends up sending Archie over to try and iron things out with this potentially stolen bracelet. And this leads to kind of one of the weaker parts of the story, I felt. And maybe you can set me straight on this, but Archie goes there and they're all set to deal with this stolen diamond bracelet or whatever it was. And right when they're going to deal with it, the guy who was really upset and said they were stolen bursts in with his lawyer, and it's revealed that, oh, guess what? Nobody stole them. I never had them in my pocket anyway. And sorry about that. And he's really upset. And I mean, when you think about the whole thing for starting this is a fake stolen. I mean, they weren't really stolen. The whole reason was that Archie and Nero were involved as this, stolen diamonds, and they're never were stolen in the first place, and it's revealed very early. Felt like kind of like, why are we even bothering? It felt like a bunch of hoops to jump through to get someplace that, there could have been a more streamlined ways to make that happen. I mean, am I missing something there? Was there something else? It felt like there should have been something else that plays into why there were these diamonds there, and it really did just turn out that he didn't know that they were there, right?
Right. No, I mean, I think that it made sense because we then figure out that, she was back there. He did see her because she was trying to steal back her piece of paper. So, I mean, it tied itself all around. I mean, how else were, I mean, it tied itself in, and I didn't mind it.
Yes, she was back there, but for him to make this leap that then she's been stealing stuff, even though he never even had the diamonds on him, it just felt like it should have either been like he was covering for her for some reason, or there needed to be some other level there that wasn't, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I was like, why is this the thing that's starting the case? It should have started with what happens next, which is a murder.
Well, yeah, but they would have never probably got involved in the same manner if he hadn't already been down there looking.
Right. Well, I mean, I just feel like they could have had them already involved without this. I mean, it should have been they were involved because of the murder, not because of this fake out diamond thing that just felt cheap and not used in any really effective way. It was just kind of like, I need to get him there somehow so the murder can happen there while Archie's there. And it didn't. So he was just kind of left creating this silly thing that didn't matter.
Okay, I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that.
I know you disagree, but it just felt silly for me when I made it to the end of the book and looking back at it. I was kind of like, why did they have to jump? Why did he jump through all those hoops just to get them there? It didn't make a lot of sense afterwards. There wasn't a reason for that to have happened. So that was kind of
Because
irritating for me.
I mean, I'm just trying to see how he would have gotten involved right with the murder. It wouldn't have worked as well, because if we have them there and he's there because he's investigating the murder, then she would never stick the Cold Memory in his pocket, because in reality he would have been there on the back end of it, so she would have got caught with that anyway. You see, it just never would have worked.
I feel like there could have been another way to get Archie down there.
Okay.
I mean, either it's the friend found out. She says, "Oh, I found out." Well, that went with later revelations, but something about Nero having a daughter would get Archie involved and down there when the murder happened. That the way it was worked out didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Okay. I get you. I hear what you're saying.
So the upshot is, though, Archie ends up down there when they discover that somebody is dead. The guy who gave Naya, is that her?
Naya?
Naya. Her alibi is found stabbed by an epee, right?
Mm-hmm. No, but yeah, in a way, yeah.
It has, normally they have this blunt end, and that's kind of another one of the interesting things is there's this little doodad that the owner of this fencing place has that you stick on the end, and then you could stab somebody. You just have one of those lying around normally. Yeah. That'll never end up being a bad idea.
Right.
So that happens, and then Archie is like hanging out in the office and finds out, let me put on my jacket. What's this? It's the murder weapon in my pocket. And so he skedaddles out of there. It leads to this kind of fun moment where he's like making sure that nobody leaves the building, but then he sneaks out the back way and is jumping over fences looking for, saying he's looking for a cat, and escapes back to Wolf's house, the brownstone, to give Wolf the scoop, and then they end up hiding the murder weapon for a while, right?
Yeah, and they wasted some chocolate hiding it in a cake or in a piece of bread.
Yeah, they cut open a piece of bread, stick it in there, and cover it with icing, which is funny.
Right. Yeah, that whole scene right there was actually one of my favorite scenes in this whole book. I thought it was pretty funny. The weird thing about it, well, no, anyway, forget it. We won't get there yet. But yeah, so he gets back there, he's talking to Wolf, and he's just like, yeah, this thing's here. And Wolf, that gets his brain going a little bit, right? Because who would stick that into Archie's coat? I mean, right then and there, I already knew who did it, but that was just me. That was just me. I don't know if you knew that, but
you figured it out already, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, because it makes sense, right? Who else would put something in Archie's coat, right? No? Okay, whatever. That's just me. But after that, that's when they get really involved, obviously, right? We got this dead British guy. Kramer shows up to the brownstones, and he's looking for Archie because, Archie dipped out. We find out that the Brits are involved. That's saying something right there. That's adding another level to this whole thing. It's not about just diamonds or this guy being killed. We got like foreign folks over here doing something shady, right? So we have Kramer talking to him about that, and he's just like, yo, I had a client, and Archie wanted to come home and tell me that I had a client. And it's kind of funny that Kramer like blows up, and they were talking about this because Kramer has never been able to like pin a murder or something on any of Wolf's clients, right?
Yeah.
So
there's some great Kramer moments in this book. I thought he's kind of comes into his own, I think, in this novel.
Yes.
I just love the way he sticks to Nero like glue, because he's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna stick here and let you solve the murder. Because I don't want you getting away, because they keep kind of giving them the runaround in this one.
Right, exactly. Because this is a book that just I liked it because it was like so much going on, but it all made sense, especially once you kind of got to like the wrap up of it.
Yeah.
While Kramer's there, they have that other guy, another foreign folk comes to see Nero, Rudolf Faber, who I think it was German, right? Yeah, I think he was German. Good. Good. So he like rolls in and he's trying to like, bribe Nero, which is something that I don't think ever really works. But
Okay,
anyway,
not gonna
Nero
get
and
that
Arch,
far.
right? They kind of come up with this elaborate plan, and Nero like pretends he has to go out on business, or they wanted to leave Rudolph
In the
in the
office
room,
alone.
yeah, to see if he was going to go for that book, and he does end up trying to go for that book, right? Elaborate plan, kicks him out, and Nero's just like, dude, people want this piece of paper, and how did he know about this piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
Hmm.
Right? Like, what does this piece of paper even mean? They it went so quickly that I didn't even think the piece of paper meant too much. I mean, I knew it meant something, but not a lot. Um, but kind of from there, this book is kind of spirals really quickly. Um, you know, we find out that Naya comes down. She can, talks about how she put the thing inside Archie's coat, which she plays oh, I thought he would just tell you, right?
Yeah.
No, no one's gonna do that. Kramer's kind of just like, WTF. Everything's just like,
Exactly. Just like
right.
that.
It's just like everyone's just like, oh my God, there's just so much going on. And then only reason that is even brought up is because another character by the name of Zorka like hits him up and is just like, yo, I saw her put that in your coat. Which, I mean, how many clues do you need that this Naya girl is kind of shady, right?
But what I think he does well is he sets it up that she's Wolf's daughter, and she's obviously, she comes across as being believable. And Wolf, the idea that Wolf is going to represent a client who's a murderer, has never happened, right? Kramer says, you never represent a murderer. And the fact that she's his daughter is another kind of sense, like a brick in that wall, that you don't really look at her as somebody that is a suspect.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but also there's just so much evidence, right? It's like on a
Well,
silver platter. No, come on. She's kind of shady. She has like 8 different alibis from different people. Like we can't even talk about that. She gets the alibi for stealing the diamonds from the British guy who said, "Oh, I actually sent her back there to do X, Y, and Z." And she had already denied that she was even back there in the first place. So how did she forget that? And then he ends up dead. And then for his death, she gets an alibi from the Rudolph guy and um, another guy who got her the job. It's just like, it was just a lot of evidence that she was not legit.
yeah. No, I mean, I
That's
think that was definitely something that was affecting there. I think overall, I found it to be, it was a little more sneaky for me. I didn't figure it out right away. I'm not a Nero Wolf or Arena, so
well, I was just
it
looking at
had
it
me a
without the
little,
glasses.
it had me a little bit more in the dark, so I was a little bit more surprised. So, but we've kind of skipped ahead a little bit here, because the next kind of big set piece is, they end up, Archie and Naya end up back at her apartment that she shares with her friend named
Carla.
Carla, and they end up there and they discover a dead body. Dun dun dun, of
Yes.
Faber, right?
Yes.
The German, who Archie had actually punched earlier because he just was really irritated with him. So, Archie
Yeah.
again, implicating himself in a murder, and then found, later found with this big, um, black eye that they think might have happened at the murder. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like Archie,
Right.
I feel like we're just marking time until Archie is picked up and for a murder, and he's gonna have to get out of that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I don't know if there's a book later on where he's accused of murder, but I feel like we're nearly there. He keeps showing up over and over again. So
Yeah, but no one ever arrests Archie, right? But no. So yeah, we get there, and she's Naya's freaking out. Carla's nowhere to be found. At this point, Wolf doesn't trust anybody, so he was having Carla tailed. And obviously Archie's like a top flight detective, and he knew that. So he tells Naya, he's like, "Yo, go get the guy. His name's Fred Durkin. Bring him up here." He gives Fred Durkin the piece of paper that he was going to give to Naya and Carla. The whole thing about the forest concessions that plays a kind of big part of this. He gives that to him, and they wait for the cops. So Kramer's just like, seriously, dude, you are everywhere. Like, what is happening, right? That is a problem. But by this point, I think this is when Kramer's just like, I'm not leaving Wolf, obviously, because Wolf knows what's happening. Wolf knew something. But at this point, now it's just like, let's find Carla and let's find Madame Zorka, because it's mainly these are the three main folks. Madame Zorka saw the murder weapon go into Archie's coat. Naya put it there, and Carla is obviously her best buddy. They finally locate Carla down at the Maidstone building.
Right.
But
there's a nice little bit there, right, where they overhear, they listen in on Kramer's phone call and discover that he knows the building that she went in, although they lost her, right? And then Archie goes down there to try and track her down, and shows off his own detective skills, which I kind of liked. He goes in there, he has no clue where she is. It's like a 33-floor building, and looks on the directory and discovers that, hey, wait a second, the guy who had those diamonds that he thought were stolen is actually got his office here. And so he goes up there and finds that she's been hiding out with him.
Boom. And, he, being the smart guy he was like, well, I need to get you to Wolf. What's the easiest way? He gets a bellboy, borrows his clothes, sends Carla right on out. And then, boom, he's at home. Wolf is able to talk to Carla, but not like immediately, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that sets up the final like fourth of this book, I would say. At this point, I think Wolf has kind of figured it out. He's been making some calls overseas because no one's actually ever seen the Princess Danovich. Ladanka Danovich, really fun name. No one's actually seen her. So, he had he finally put in some sort of overseas like picture call for his London buddy, and they sent him a picture of the princess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gets everyone in there. He gets Kramer, he gets, what's her name? Naya. He gets Naya down there. I think he even has a couple of his like regular detectives, like Fred and anyone else I'm missing. He had some people.
Well, and then there's the other people that we didn't really talk about. Somebody else who was at the
the Donnie Bonnie.
Yeah. So there's this kind of villainous lawyer banker dude, right? Banker. Who involved trying to get the letter and trying to make this deal happen with some Nazis, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Basically.
And so he's really had some run-ins with Wolf, where Wolf is like, I will give you a heads up that I'm going to interfere with your plans. And this guy's basically saying he's going to kill Wolf if he does that. And it's revealed that, his son is actually an accessory to murder as well, right?
Yep. So the Barretts, that's what they are. Yeah. They're both there, senior and junior. And the reason Junior is an accessory is because he supplied a false alibi, basically, and he hid some witnesses. But so all these folks are there. Wolf is just like, Kramer, I'm going to tell you who's the murderer, and I'm going to tell you why. But I got to do it my way, right? And Kramer's like, sure, whatever.
Like, whatever, rolls his eyes and like, let's get this over with, right?
Right. So before that, Wolf is just like, give me a reliable guy. Kramer gives him a reliable guy. He's like, hey, reliable guy, here's a piece of paper. Take Naya to like Times Square, drop her there, and then come straight back. And Naya just like has a flip out. She's just like, come on, no, I'm not gonna leave. And he's like, yes, you are, bro. Yes, you are.
Just like that. That's how
right. Yeah, it's crazy that he sounds just like me. So the cop takes her away. And the Wolf was like, yo, this is who killed her. The Princess Ladanka Danovich or whatever. She was the killer. And so Kramer's like, yeah, so where's Carla? And he's like, nah, it's not even Carla. So he shows the picture. Boom, it's Naya. It was Naya. Yeah, it was her. She's going out killing everybody left and right.
And Kramer is just pissed. He's like, you let her leave?
Right. And he was like, she thought she was my client. I was, responsible. Da 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 da.
No.
Um, and so, at that point, Kramer's like, we gotta go and get her. Um,
Right. And Wolf's like, well, if you just, I can tell you, he's like, forget it.
yeah,
Guys, get out there, get her. So
right.
it turns into this whole huge thing. Kramer runs out the door, right? And when he
Hmm.
runs out there, Archie goes after him. And
To give him the
then,
picture, right?
right. And then somebody flies in, and it's
Hmm.
Naya, right? So she
Yep.
runs in there, basically, comes
Yeah.
in to attack Wolf, which is like
Yeah.
totally crazy. She runs in the office. She's got a knife, I think, right?
Yeah, she had a knife.
And she goes to attack him. And this is a great little moment here. Wolf picks up a couple of beer bottles because he's always drinking beer. And he's
Right.
got like two beer bottles in his hand, and he uses one to block the knife, and the other he hits her right in the head and kills her. Right? I mean, this was a little vague, like
Yes.
that he actually kills her, but you're like, holy crap!
Right. He kills her, and it's just like, what? And one of my favorite things in most of these Rex style books is that they always say the title of the book in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But like as she was like getting escorted out, she said something to him in like this language or whatever. And Archie comes running back in and he's just like, oh my God, I should have closed the door, da 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 da. And Nero's like, I got it. And he was like, yo, before she was leaving, she said something weird to you. And she said over, and he's like, he was like, I don't want to see you again, or da 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 da, whatever. And she was like, basically, over my dead body is what she said.
And she did that like taking off her sunglasses in true CSI fashion, right? She's like,
Yeah.
my dead body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, ha. I literally giggled for like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like,
No,
that was fun.
that was crazy. Like you're like, whoa. And then after that, it's revealed that she is actually the princess, right?
Yeah, so she's the princess, and Carla is actually Wolf's adopted daughter,
Yes.
who's been basically like the princess's like handmaiden or whatever.
Yeah. She was kind of like taken in and forced to be her assistant or whatever.
Right. And I mean, the only reason that Wolf's daughter even showed up is because this princess was both schemy and kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But she thought that, hey, I could probably use you if I get screwed over in New York, by just assuming your identity. Da, 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 da. I mean, this princess was just, and I mean, even then they were saying like even the prince was kind of afraid of her because she's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, and so that kind of is the plot of the story. The things that I really enjoyed in this book, I thought the Kramer stuff was really good. I thought Kramer really is kind of has a little bit of fun in this one with Wolf and just kind of exasperation, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I liked that. I liked the there's this whole Wolf backstory that we really didn't talk about, where it's revealed that he was a he joins the army in over there, and he says he walked like 600 miles, nearly died.
Yes, he did die, as he said.
Up. Yes, I did die. He talks about how he ended up, being disillusioned and left, but not before adopting this daughter, who then disappeared. And he, came back and searched for her for like a year and couldn't find her anywhere. And just, and then he also reveals that he was an intelligence agent for a while, right? And you get a lot of this this is really probably, I don't know if there's more of them like this, but this is definitely like, Nero Wolf as a spy. And it also talks about, there's these other intelligence agents and spies around, one from England, one from Germany. And that's kind of this interesting kind of spy angle on the whole thing, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. I also loved the fact that he, you get this reveal that he has a daughter. That was really pretty interesting dynamic. And the swap, I didn't see the swap coming, that she was not his daughter, it was the other one. So that was kind of a surprise for me.
Oh, I didn't see the swap that it wasn't the daughter. I just knew that the Naya girl was definitely the killer.
Oh,
like that's what I knew.
Nero's Wolf daughter was killing people. I never believed.
I mean,
that's part of why they got me.
I mean,
because I didn't believe that his daughter would truly do that.
Well, and the thing about it is, I was like, it's not like his real daughter. He didn't raise. I mean, yes, it's his real daughter, but he didn't raise her, so she might not have the exact same sensibilities as he does. So I was like, yeah, I can see her going around killing people. And what a great twist that would be if his daughter was like a murderer. That would
be interesting. That would be kind of cool. I'll give you that.
Right. So, so yeah, I kind of really was I was like, I know this girl's killing people. Like, it just seemed like it. But yeah, I was like, man, that sucks if his daughter is a murderer, but also kind of cool. Um, and then like I like the whole Archie getting away scene. I really like that scene. I think it's funny.
The when he's running away from the fencing place, right?
Yeah, you
With
know,
the murder weapon in his pocket.
pocket, right? I was like, that's a really pretty cool scene in my mind. I could like visualize it, so I liked it a lot. And I mean, otherwise, I mean, I just like this book. I thought it was a good book. I really enjoyed it.
No, I think it was very solid. You know, I agree.
Yeah.
This was a good one. I loved like the backstory that we get of Wolf.
Yeah.
You know, for you, he ends up staying home the whole time, which I know you like.
That was a win.
I also liked just some of the Archie moments. You know, him driving around, him showing himself to be, if not as smart as Wolf, at least as street smart and you know able to hold his own very well, which I enjoyed seeing. That.
Yeah, I will say that this one showcases both of them in a very good light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's looking ahead. Do we ever see this daughter again? Does she ever reappear, or does she just disappear after this?
Nope, she comes back.
Okay, all right. Probably as a murderer, I know, but we'll see.
Life happens, right? No. But yeah, no, she makes a very brief reappearance. Yeah, but she comes back.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Now I'll be in suspense.
Yes, you know, I like that. The characters, there's some reusing of characters, which I think is a plus, because you know you kind of get to see them a little bit. Yeah. So that's a plus.
Well, I'm a spy fanatic, so I really loved the kind of spy angle of this one. That was kind of fun to see.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely one more book, Black Mountain, that has some spyness going on. I think you might like that one a lot. So.
All right, cool.
Not sure when you get there, but I've read it at least a year ago, so I can't really remember everything about it. But yeah.
Cool. What else? Anything?
So, no, I think that was pretty much it. This was like a true Nero Wolfe book to me. So
satisfactory.
Yes, satisfactory.
I would say satisfactory.
Very satisfactory. Yes. Good call.
Although, you know, it did have the murderer dying in the end again. So I don't know if you're up.
I know. And that was something that I was gonna let go because I like this book so much. But once again, you know, the crazy thing about it, yeah, she died, but she died by Wolf's hands in that 2-bottle attack, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be something I would love seeing. You've watched the TV show. Did they adapt this one?
Yeah, they did. It's one of my favorite ones to watch.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Do they show the attack like they write it in
the
book?
They do. The 2-bottle attack does happen, and nice. Or 2-bottle defense at least happens.
All right, cool. Well, cool. I'll have to check that one out then for sure.
Definitely say do it. Yeah, but I'll take that. Let's hope the next books we get a murderer that goes to jail. Let's hope. Or you know.
At least he's saving the justice system some trials, you know. So
that's true.
All right.
Well, yeah, I think they still had the. Oh, go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think they still had the electric chair back then, so W to die your own way that way.
Go out on your own terms.
All
right. Well, let's move on to recommendations. Do you got anything? Or no? Before we get there.
Yes.
Who would you cast? Who's the murderer?
So casting for Nea, I would do Stella Maeve. She's from The Magicians, and I just feel like she plays good and bad so well that you would not suspect her of being the murderer.
Okay, cool. I think I'd go with somebody named Olga. I'm going to say this name wrong. Kurylenko. She was in Quantum of Solace, and she was also in, I think, the November Man movie. And playing a Russian, and so I can kind of see her easing into this role. I think she'd be kind of good as the femme fatale style.
I'll give you that one. I can see it. I can see it very well.
All right, cool. Recommendations. What do you got?
Recommendations.
I stole yours the last time. I think you were going to pick Parker for this one, right?
I definitely was going to pick Parker because I feel like Archie could be Parker, but always have a backup, right? I would say, and it's a TV one again, It Takes a Thief. Only because in this one you see Archie thinking on his own a lot, and it just really, really does remind me of that TV. I mean, it's a great TV show. We have the the brains and then the actual thief. But in reality, I don't know. It's a good series. Well, only series 1 and 2. The third season was kind of crappy. Don't watch it if you don't really want to. But yeah, and it has Robert Wagner in it. And who doesn't like Robert Wagner? He's pretty. Literally, he's pretty. But anyway,
Okay.
that's my recommendation. Give it a try.
Okay, cool. Well, for me this week, given the spy twist to this one, I really I'm just gonna go with the spy theme. I recently visited the International Spy Museum in Washington D.C. I loved it. It's really fun. I would say check that out and go visit there if you're ever in the area. It's well worth your time and money. I had a lot of fun there.
And I will double down on that. Really, really great museum. Really good.
Cool. Well, that's it for today. What's the next book?
Where There's a Will.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It's always trouble when there's a will.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to talking about that one next time. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.